Hey guys, it's Paul here at Impulsive Culinarian, and let's talk about one more recipe for the Labor Day weekend menu, my apple crumble recipe. So as the summer's coming to a close and apples are starting to become in season, well, let's capitalize on that and make a nice dessert recipe for our Labor Day weekend extravaganza blowout before summer is officially over. Macintosh apples are my favorite to use for this. They're just the right texture. They soften very well when you cook them. Perfect apple pie type of ingredient. But any apple will do, Gala or any of those others, whichever apple you like. So let's talk about the ingredients you'll need for this recipe. So let's split this out into two parts, guys. One for the filling ingredients. You're going to need 12 to 13 apples. When you're done peeling them and coring them, guys, you should have 2 pounds of prepared apple ready to go. So those you're going to peel, core, and cube into big chunks. You want to get the juice of 1 lemon to make sure that they avoid browning while you're preparing the rest of your stuff. You're going to get a handful of blueberries, a handful, quarter cup, third of a cup. Depends on how much you want to put in there. Just a little bit of blueberries to give it some color. 1/3 of a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of white rice flour. Now moving on to the topping ingredients, all right, for your crumble topping. All of this gets prepared in the food processor. Here's what you're going to throw in. 1/2 of a cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of corn flour, 1/4 cup of brown rice flour, 1/4 cup of tapioca flour, 1/4 cup of gluten-free rolled oats, and 1/4 cup of soy-free and dairy-free margarine. All right, that's what we're using. If you guys can do butter, by all means, use butter. Otherwise, get yourself some good dairy-free margarine. Put a 1/4 cup. Guys, it's super simple, but it tastes delicious. Let's go make some apple crumble right now. Apple crumble, one of the simplest recipes that you could possibly make for your summer Labor Day weekend menu. And guys, you can do it with anything. You do it with apples, you can do it with blueberries, pears, whatever fruit that you've got sort of hanging around, and get it just as it's about to, before they go bad, or they're just starting to get a little mushy, right? So I've got this sort of a hodgepodge of a mix of, what are we got here? Gala and Pink Ladies and Macintosh. I have old Macintosh and new. So I've just taken a dozen apples and one for good luck, and I'm going to peel and core those and chop them into 1-inch cubes, or maybe 3/4 inch cubes, just bite-sized morsels so that I can put them in my pan. So before we get started though, 375, preheat the oven. Okay, start peeling and coring. So 12 apples should do the trick, guys. If you're not sure, it's not exact science. It's crumble, okay? But if you really want to be right on, go ahead, measure them. Make sure you got 2 pounds of stuff. 2 pounds and 0.2 ounces. Score! Okay, so with your 2 pounds of apples peeled and cored, cube them up into tiny cubes around 1/2 to 3/4 inch and put them in a big mixing bowl. So there you go, guys. 2 pounds of apples all cubed up. Now let's get some lemon juice in there real quick. Okay, so once all your apples are nice and cubed, you want to get the juice of 1 lemon in there to keep them from browning. Toss them around really well. Okay, so the infamous handful of blueberries. How much of a handful? I think at the start of the video I said 1/3 or 1/4 cup. That's not enough. 1/2 a cup, I think, is the right amount. I'm going to measure it right now. Drop one on the floor. Perfect. 1/2 a cup. It's exactly what you need, okay? Plop that in there. Okay, so the last 2 ingredients for your filling mixture. Get yourself 1/3 of a cup of light or golden sugar. We're using golden cane sugar. And 2 tablespoons of white rice flour for thickening. All right, so then toss your apple mixture together so everything is nice and coated and thoroughly combined. There you go, guys. Filling mixture all combined with the sugar and the white rice flour. So this is going to be prepared in a 9x9 square, 2-inch thick baking dish. You don't have to prepare it with butter or margarine or anything like that. Just get the filling right in there. Should fill it right to the top. Okay, so there you go. 2 pounds of apples, a shot of blueberries, and a little bit of thickener and sweetener. So we're going to put some crumble on top of that now. There's no better way to prepare this gluten-free crumble than by doing it in a food processor. So yes, you can do it by hand, but this is by far the easiest way, guys. Done it 100 times. Trust me on this one, okay? All right, guys, so here's the magic combination when you're talking about a gluten-free crumble topping. You're basically looking at 1/2 of a cup of brown sugar, all right? 3/4 of a cup of some kind of gluten-free flour mix. I made my own here with corn flour, brown rice flour and tapioca flour. That's my basic mix. And a quarter cup of rolled oats, okay? This is really gonna add some nice texture, especially in the food processor. They're gonna chop up a little bit and they're gonna be really nice. And a quarter cup of dairy-free margarine. Gonna get that in the food processor and blitz the heck out of it. Super simple crumble mixture. I love this, guys. Easy. Get the sugar in there. Your flour mixture, 3/4 of a cup worth. Some rolled oats. Get the margarine in there. And pulse until it sticks together. Okay, so I've blitzed it in the food processor for a little while, and you see how it just clumps together a little tiny bit. Still dry, but the margarine in there and the sugar, when it's baking in the oven, is gonna get nice and golden, and oh, it's gonna be beautiful. Okay, get it out of the food processor and on top of your nice fruit mixture. So spread it around until it covers the entire surface of your fruit crumble. Okay, that's gonna be delicious. Okay, so you're gonna bake this in the oven at 375 in 2 shots. First, you're gonna put in for 30 minutes in the middle rack, uncovered. Let it get nice and bubbly and just starting to brown. And then you're gonna tent it very lightly with a piece of tin foil. I know, tin foil, but for me, it's fine. It's not really touching the food. It's just covering it up to prevent the gluten-free crumble from burning. And you're gonna do it for another 15 minutes. So let's get it in now, 375, uncovered for 30 minutes. Sit your rack. Okay, 30-minute timer. Go. Recording, go.
Hi, I'm Samantha, and my dad told me that there's magic in your heart. And if you believe in that, give this video a thumbs up.
Oh, if you don't give thumbs up now, you are an evil person.
And I do, and you know what's weird? I do karate. I've been gardening all day, and I've been picking humongous cucumbers. Wow, how tiring was that? 1,000,000 times tiring than lifting up a boulder.
They're gonna have trouble meeting people when they're older. Very shy. Okay, so when the 30 minutes is almost done, guys, get yourself a square of tin foil that you're just gonna lightly put on top of that casserole dish before you put it back in for another 15 minutes to finish up. All right, 30-minute timer done. Let's put this tin foil on top. Okay, so here, 30 minutes is done, and look at that, it's bubbling nicely, and this is almost cooked. The apple chunks are very soft, but they're gonna get even softer. They need to cook another 15 minutes. And as you can see, my crumble is starting to get nice and brown, so I don't want it to burn or cook any more than that. So I'm gonna put tin foil on, put it back in for 15 minutes. Don't burn yourself. If your square baking dish is a little bit on the small side, and you feel like the ingredients are maybe going to bubble over, you definitely want to be cooking this on top of another baking sheet to avoid having some kind of a messy spill on the bottom of your oven. So that's the classic wrong order of diffusing a bomb, right? The instructional video, how to defuse the bomb. Cut the red wire, but cut the blue wire first. Ah! Okay, second round of 15 minutes is up. Let's get it out. Oh, that smells amazing. Oh, piping hot. This you gotta see. So when you thought it was cooked at 30 minutes, now guys, it's really going. Look at that, nice bubbling going on in there. Beautiful, just gorgeous. And I know it's soft all the way through. Those apples that were just sort of cooked before are like they melt in your mouth now. It's like it's super soft. And that crumble has not browned much more thanks to that tinfoil tent that we put on it. Now the hard part, you have to let this cool for like an hour at least. You know, I've been known to dig in before that, but usually an hour should do the trick. Just leave it out like that on the stovetop. See you in an hour. So guys, an hour has finally elapsed, and this crumble is now beautifully cooled and ready to serve. And look at that. It's just such a great treat. Perfect way to round off the menu when you're having a celebration for the last long weekend of summer on Labor Day weekend. Guys, my name is Paul from Impulsive Culinarian. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel and be sure to hit the like button. And join me on Wednesday. I'm doing a live update every Wednesday here on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, just to give you an idea of what's happening in the Impulsive Culinarian world. So again, I'll see you in the next video, guys, and catch you next Saturday for another how-to recipe video. some of my favorite stuff right here. Won't lie. Beautiful. And if you make it in the winter, it reminds you of something. Bon appetit.